Yes, we're back again. It's Trev Smoove, and I appreciate you for dropping through to hear my perspective today. We're going to talk about the curious case of Lindsay Clancy. And what I found most peculiar about this was not the heinous act, or acts for that matter, but the overwhelming support she received, particularly from women. I've watched a video that I'm going to show to you in just a second, and believe it or not, I still lacked a bit of understanding of this phenomenon. Let's get into it.
We're here to send one message, and that message is that it should not take tragedy for people to start paying attention to mental health.
I believe that women deserve support, and Lindsay didn't receive the support that she deserved.
We love you, Lindsay, and we're here for you. We're here to show support and love for her.
So I do get that part of it. I don't think that women, or humans for that matter at all, are supported enough in mental health. For sure.
More than 100 people demonstrated outside of Plymouth Superior Courthouse on Thursday morning for Lindsay Clancy, the mother facing triple murder charges for fatally strangling her 3 young children. Her legal team is making the case of an insanity defense and says she suffered from postpartum psychosis. The tragedy has shed a spotlight on maternal mental health, and Lindsay's supporters say treatments of postpartum illnesses needs a reckoning.
My goal today is to support the postpartum health of women. I have 5 children. I feel like anyone who has had kids understands that postpartum period. Lindsay Clancy was begging for help from everything we can see, and I don't think she got it.
Professionally, it hits me, and personally, it hits me. With mental health, we've done a really bad job of recognizing that just because somebody says that they're doing okay, doesn't mean that they're doing okay.
I'm here supporting Lindsay because I've been through what Lindsay's going through and been failed with mental health.
She was failed. She was let down.
That's twice in a row. She was failed. She was let down, right? They failed her. Who's they, though? Who is they? Who failed her? We've been studying mental health, according to records, for about 2,500 years. So it's not something that we've never recognized, but it's something that we have yet to get a grip on. Even if you were to take something like autism. 50 years ago, it looked completely different. They didn't diagnose people on a spectrum. They would just say you're slow. And believe it or not, they say that there's about the same rates of people when they've tested adults to see, but they just didn't understand what it was. I don't think that we're in a position yet to where we understand mental health fully as hard as we try. It's just one of those things where it's kind of like cancer, where we just really don't have the answers yet. So we can't really blame they, in my opinion.
So many women suffer from postpartum, and they don't always get help that they need.
It means a lot to me because I can feel that pain and that disparity as a mother to a mother.
And Clancy supporters see her lawyer, Kevin Reddington, as a crusader for postpartum health care.
And Lindsay's here. Oh, it's Reddington. God bless Kevin.
God bless Kevin, the crusader. So the one thing I am curious about is if Kevin the Crusader were defending a man at this particular point, let's just say he were, for a similar act, would he be considered a crusader by the same people who are rallying for Kenzie right now?
God bless him. We do love Kevin. Kevin is so instrumental in this process because he's given a voice to all these women that have had no voice for so long. We're so grateful that somebody's hearing us. And we can shout from the rooftop that finally someone is hearing that we as women, we do need help. And we do need support. And see, that's why we're all here. And we love you, Lindsay.
I feel that this could be like a watershed moment. This needs to, it was so tragic, but hopefully from this, we will see a huge change. We will see that people are, I really feel like the village needs to come back around women after they have children.
I hope that
Ooh, she made a solid point. I do agree with that. It does take a village to raise a child. To be honest, it's a lot. Not to say it can't be done otherwise, but in all reality, I think that we've had so much more support from the community with our children. And strangely enough, this particular instance, there is what they would consider to be a nuclear family, right? You had what seemed to be a supportive husband, at least in some fashion, and typically, you get what's at least understood as the best outcomes, but that certainly did not happen in this particular case. So that's a bit troubling.
Doctors will not just dismiss women because that is what's happened decade after decade after decade. It's not right, it's not fair, and you have to at some point acknowledge that it does happen. And something needs to change. And if anything comes from this, if any silver lining comes from this, maybe that's it, that there will be a change in that.
Okay, so I understand the woman's cries to an extent, and I realize why they are doing it and why they are supporting other women. I think there's something to be said about choosing your battles, though, right? I think we have to understand what the optics are. There are some people who are completely against this and can't understand why a woman would defend a person accused and admitting to these heinous crimes. So if you don't care about the optics, I get it, but I would not want to be behind this. This is not something that I could co-sign. And I really want you to just take a look at some of the facts, because I have some of them. And I've tried to look at this from every angle possible. And let's be completely fair. Anyone looking at the medical history knows that Lindsay Clancy was in a severe psychiatric distress. She was checking herself into inpatient and outpatient programs. She was struggling with severe postpartum depression and anxiety. She was under intense medical supervision. Nobody is denying the maternal mental health is a real crisis, or that she needs serious psychiatric help. Our hearts break for those innocent babies, and you can recognize the human tragedy of a mother collapsing under psychiatric weight. If people want to rally around the courthouse steps to change laws, to demand better maternal health care screening, or to fight for legislative reform on how the justice system handles severe mental health cases, that is a valid conversation to have. If the goal is systematic reform, take the fight to the legislator. Because when you step inside the courtroom, a judge and jury cannot rewrite the statutes on the fly. They have to follow how the law is written. Under Massachusetts law, having severe depression or psychological crisis does not automatically absolve someone from legal agency. The legal standard for criminal responsibility is strict. The state has to ask two fundamental questions. Did the defendant understand the wrongfulness of the act? And did they have the capacity to conform their conduct to the law? And that is where the legal case collides with the public sympathy. Look at the evidence the prosecution presented. On January 24th, Lindsay mapped out the timing. She sent her husband Patrick on two specific errands, driving to another town to pick up medicine at CVS and picking up takeout from a restaurant. That created an exact isolated 45-minute window. Her Apple Watch and iPhone, you and those eye products, I don't believe it. You know how many people get caught from using iPhone products? Just saying. But her telemetry recorded every single movement. Down the stairs to the basement, moving methodically between the children back up the stairs. And while Patrick is standing in the restaurant, he called her. A 14-second phone call, his testimony. Her voice was completely clear, calm, and lucid. no manic rambling, no detached delirium, a completely composed conversation while the act was underway. Now look at the medicine defense. The defense and social media point to the fact that she was prescribed 13 different medications over 4 months. But the forensic toxicology showed that she was not on 13 drugs simultaneously. And there were no toxic levels or overdose in her system. When forensic psychiatrist Dr. Avon Mack testified, he established that while she was suffering from major depressive disorder, her actions showed goal-directed behavior, planning, and an understanding of wrongfulness. This is a hard boundary between empathy and the rule of law. You can deeply sympathize with the horrific reality of postpartum mental illness. You can demand systematic healthcare reform. You can acknowledge that she needs medical help. At the end of the day, empathy belongs in the hospital and reform belongs in the state house. But the inside of a criminal courtroom, the justice belongs to the victims. Those 3 children didn't get a choice. They did not get an isolated 45-minute window. And they did not get a team of advocates. You can hold compassion for her while still demanding accountability for her actions. Because if we decide that suffering alone excuses the execution of innocent children, we aren't protecting mental health. We're completely abandoning the rule of law. These are my thoughts. I'm extremely curious to see what yours are. Please comment down below. As you subscribed, if you already haven't, hit the like button. And if you're feeling froggy, hit the hype button for my early watchers. You could have been anywhere else in the world today, but you spent it here with me, and you are appreciated and loved for it. As always, stay hungry, my friends. Never thirsty.